week's Parashat, we read of the culmination of the saga of Joseph and his brothers, Yosef and his brothers. After years of separation, we come to the emotional ending when Yosef is reunited with his father Yaakov, and all the 12 brothers, the 12 tribes are reunited. There are many questions to be asked about the entire storyline. Let's focus on just two. Firstly, what took Yosef so long to make contact with his family? True, there was a long period of time when he was enslaved, when he was imprisoned. But there were also a minimum of 7-8 years when Yosef was viceroy of Egypt. He could have easily sent a message to his father in Eretz Yisrael. This is the question of the Ramban. The second question, which all the commentators ask, is what was Yosef thinking in the entire saga? All the trials, all the challenges, all the sorrow, all the pain that Yosef puts his brothers through. What was going through his mind? And while on a certain level we can understand if it was simple revenge for what they had done to him, but when we're talking about Yosef HaTzadik, we have to assume there was much more significance to that. Let's address this question by focusing on the very last part of the story. Yosef imprisons Shimon until the brothers would bring Binyamin to Mitzrayim to prove their innocence. Yaakov obviously refuses to send Binyamin to Mitzrayim, unknowing what will befall of him. He's certainly protective and understandably so for his younger son. Reuven argues with his father that they will perish, and he even sacrifices his own 2 sons, declares that they too will die, lest Binyamin be harmed. Yaakov yet refuses. However, ultimately, Yehuda is successful in convincing Yaakov to allow for Binyamin to go down to Egypt. Was it just that he had his back against the wall? There was no more hope, there was no more food, they were going to starve to death? Or did Yehuda present a conclusive argument? There's a word which Yehuda repeats time and time again. And this may be the key to understanding why Yaakov listens to him, and it may be the key to understanding the entire story. When Yehuda tells Yaakov that he will take responsibility for Binyamin, he doesn't say, as Reuven said, that my own 2 sons will perish. He uses an interesting Hebrew word called arev. Yehuda says that he will be an arev over Binyamin. Arev in Hebrew means to ambush, means to overcome. Practically, in today's judicial system, an arev on a contract is a guarantor. What is the significance of a guarantor? Guarantor says, let's say you take a loan for $1 million, and quite frankly, the bank doesn't believe you're going to be able to pay up the $1 million, because that's quite a sum of money. So you get someone else to sign and guarantee that in the case that you're not able to pay that $1 million, he will. In other words, if you don't live up to your responsibility, then your arev, your guarantor, is in your place. He becomes you. There's this complete unity between yourself and the person you're guaranteeing. When Yehuda says that he's going to be an arev for Binyamin, he's saying that we're totally unified. You know, when the brothers come down to Egypt, Yosef charges them that they're spies, and Rashi points out, why did Yosef charge them for being spies? Where did he derive this notion from? And Rashi explains based on the Midrash that they had entered through 12 gates. Now this would be an explanation to understand why he believed that they were spies, but there's no hint to this in the text. Rashi obviously is true to trying to explain this simple understanding of the storyline. What's Rashi trying to tell us? That they came in through 10 different gates. What Rashi is trying to tell us is that they were not unified. There was disjuncture between them. They didn't come as one. When they come to Egypt, it says, "Ve'vo achei Yosef esed." 10 of Yosef's brothers came to Egypt, and Rashi points out yet again that we didn't need the Torah to tell us a mathematical fact. We knew how many there are because Binyamin didn't come and Yosef was obviously not with them. It points out that there were 10 because they were so disjunctured, they were so separate. Yosef waits for one moment, and this is Yaakov's goal as well, that they're going to become a Rev. They're going to become unified, they're going to become one. Yehuda, in the beginning of this week's Parashat, is Nigash, Vayigash Yehuda. Vayigash Yehuda. He turns to Yosef and he tells him, Anochi aravti et anar. I became the guarantor, I became unified with Binyamin. We're all one. That which started in complete separateness, complete divisiveness, has turned now to one. At that moment, Yosef was able to reveal himself, his true identity, to bring the full unity amongst the brothers. Conclude with the words of Rav Kook, who teaches that if the world was destroyed together with the Beit HaMikdash because of baseless hatred, then we will certainly rebuild the Beit HaMikdash and to rebuild all that has been ruined in the world with baseless love. Shabbat Shalom.